Unfortunately, a lot of us did not have the luxury of living in our childhood home or our family home until we were old enough to leave and fly on our own. A lot of us had to run away and escape our family homes and our childhood homes. Hi, my name is Ty. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we're talking about surviving a toxic family home. I was someone that did not stay in my family home, in my childhood home. I just didn't have the luxury of staying there and building my money and going to school and graduating, getting to start off my adulthood with that like extra boost. I had to get out of there. For me, it was really a matter of life and death. I felt like there was 3 outcomes that could come from me staying in my childhood home. The first one was I'd probably develop mental illnesses. I'd either end up in jail or I would end up unaliving myself or unaliving someone else. When I really sat down with myself and told myself, okay, what is going to happen if I stay here? Those were the 3 things that I came up with. It's either one of those 3 things, 2 of those 3 things, or 3 of those 3 things. The way I looked at it was, it really was a matter of life and death. I look at life as like a race. Some people start with really nice running shoes. They take a pre-workout and their parents make it so they start halfway through the race. Some people start a quarter through the race. Some people start at the start line, and some people aren't even on the track. Some people are making their way to the start line. I think that I was just one of those people. The purpose of this video is to explain how I survived living in a toxic family home, or how I survived my toxic childhood home. The first thing I did was I did like a 1 through 10. 1 being just like a normal dysfunctional. Every single family is dysfunctional to a certain degree. The most happy, loving, safe space families are dysfunctional. It just is what it is. So that was number 1. And then number 10 being like, it's a matter of life and death. I really do feel like my situation was an 8. Whether I was prepared or not, I had to make my way out of there. While I was figuring out how to make my way out there, I did a few things. The first thing I did was I made sure that all I did there was eat, sleep, and shower. As a teenager, I was never in the house. As a teenager and a young adult, I was never in the house. I stayed in my childhood home for about 20 years, but I wasn't there until I was 20 years old, if that makes sense. You know, I moved out, came back, moved out, came back. I think I moved out and came back 3 times. But I did a few things while I was there. The first thing I did was, like I said, I made sure all I did was eat, sleep, and shower. Other than that, I wasn't home. My childhood passion was dance. There was a after-school dance program, and there was a troupe at my high school. I made sure to enroll in that. And then after school, I was part of a dance like company agency, and I would go to dance practice and I would take class. So I was never home. And if I wasn't in a dance rehearsal, I was in another dance rehearsal. And if I wasn't in another dance rehearsal, I was hanging out with my friends that I met through dance. And if I wasn't in dance, I was at like tutoring or a homework program. There was also a leadership program in the community for like little teenagers of color to learn like tools, you know, little things that they could learn to help them in the future. And there was also a leadership program at my school, and I was in both. I made sure to pack my schedule so that the only reason I was home was to eat, sleep, and shower. That is it. That is it. Another thing I did was I always had a speaker. Remember when I left my parents' house, I had a big speaker. I still have that speaker till this day. But like the speakers that I would get would just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had headphones, and I would lose myself in music. And one thing that was so like interesting was my dad would always say, oh, he's trying to drown me out. Like he would say I'm trying to drown him out. And I'll be like, what's wrong with this man? But now looking back, he probably right. That's probably why I lost myself in music so much. I was probably just trying to drown out everything that was going on. I realized that I wasn't the only one doing that. Like my little brother was doing the same thing. As he got older, blasting music, never home, like the same things that I was doing. I made sure I always had a hobby, that I was always doing something. I made sure that I always had music, and I made sure that I was only there to eat, sleep, and shower. And heavy on the sleep and shower, because I'll barely eat at home. Another thing I did was I mentally prepared myself and told myself that life would be hard. There's no way around it. Most people my age age start somewhere, you know, either their parents do the bare minimum and just provide them a safe space to stay, or they give them money, they pay for school, or they do something to help propel them into adulthood. I just knew that I didn't have any of that. I was just going to be behind in life. That it was okay, because I know that I'm not the only one. I was not the only one that was going through something like that, and I was not the only one that went through something like that and succeeded. There are people out there that have been orphans and succeeded in life. It was hard for them. Did they have to work 6 times as hard to get where they needed to get? Yes, but they got somewhere. So I mentally prepared myself for that. Another thing I did was I was always trying to get a job. Was I always saving my money and utilizing that job in the right way? No. I think every single time I left my parents' house, I left with no money, even though I had a job. But looking back, the smart thing to do would have been to just stack my bread. But it was hard in that environment to save money. It was really hard. And then another thing is, like, I always had a friend or a family member or a cousin or an aunt that I could stay at. I always felt like a burden, so I never wanted to bother my friends and family like that. But I know even today, like, something happens to me, I know I have family and friends that I could stay at for a while until I get myself on my feet. In that way, I'm very lucky. Some people have nothing, some people have no one, but I know that if something were to happen to me, I do have family and friends that I could stay at for at least a couple of days until things start to work. That's really about it. That's really how I survived living in a toxic environment. A lot of people tell me, like, oh, Tyrese, look at you, you know, you moved out, you're living on your own, you're doing your thing, you're surviving. A lot of people don't have the strength to do what you did. A lot of people can't do what you did. And it always surprises me when people say that, because I really looked at it as a life and death situation. I looked at it as a life or death situation. I looked at it as, like, it's either I stay here and I die, or I leave and I survive. I don't know. It was really me surviving. Like, I don't know if it was about having the strength. It was just, I knew that if I stayed in that environment, I would be so, I don't even know, to tell you guys the truth, not even to be dark like that. I really feel like if I was in that situation till this day, I don't think I would be on this planet anymore. I don't. Or maybe I would be in a mental institution. One of the two. I feel like some of my family members, if they do end up watching this video, they might feel like I'm being dramatic. That was really my experience. If you're in a toxic family environment right now, or a toxic childhood home right now, know that you're not the only one, and know that you will survive this. One way or another, you will survive this. As long as you keep putting in a try. That's one thing I learned about this whole surviving a toxic family home situation. As long as you keep putting in a try, the universe is gonna see you. As long as you keep applying for apartments, trying to get a job, as long as you keep putting in that try, you're gonna see, you're gonna make it. It's not gonna be easy. There's gonna be nights where you cry yourself to sleep. It's gonna look very ugly. It's not gonna look like a TikTok get ready with me. It's not gonna look like that at all. It's not gonna be linear, but you will survive, as did I. I'm the living proof right here. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much. Leave a like, comment, and let me know what you think about surviving toxic family environments. Subscribe, and until next time, toodles.